Hello everyone, I'll be getting started in just a minute. All right. Just checking to make sure my streams are active. Are active. Oop. There we go. On YouTube and on Twitch and on Facebook. All right. Okay, let me just double check, make sure I'm not too loud on the microphone. I'm not. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager, Cordovan, and yeah, we got some news. I'm going to also do a little bit of gameplay, I think, here today, assuming we don't end up doing an hour full of questions like last week. A lot of Q&A last week, though, so if you do want to get caught up on that, that should be available as an archive. I really do appreciate you being here, including Sam, Darlene, Matthew on Facebook, Diana on Antil on YouTube, Gelderus, Guerendis, St. Joan, and everyone else over on Twitch. Very nice to see you here. So the first bit of news, I guess, is probably the big news that we announced yesterday. Let me go and call that up on a page of the web on the screen here, and I could talk a little bit about it. Maybe do some Q&A, answer any questions you might have regarding this. So yesterday, we announced that we are going to be making all existing quest packs free through a coupon for a limited time for all players, both VIP, premium, and free, to redeem in the near future. Let me just read it. We've seen our communities come together in recent months as we unlocked quest, raid, and adventure area content and are excited to make some announcements today you'll want to read. We would like to thank you for supporting us. So, to begin with, we are continuing our free extension of quest, raids, and adventure areas through August 31st. So, what's been going on the last couple of months going to continue through August 31st. However, eventually we do need to bring it to an end, and we are going to be providing a way for you to move forward with your gaming when it does come to an end. So in the coming days, we'll be providing a coupon code that will let you acquire all currently available quest packs permanently on your accounts. However, you'll need to act quickly. The coupon code will be available to redeem through August 31st. After that point, you will not be able to redeem the code nor get the all currently available free quest packs permanently unlocked on your account. In the near future, we're going to be doing a 99 Lotro point sale on the following expansion quests. Now note, this is expansion quests. This does not include things like any classes or races or other perks. This is just the content. Expansion quests: Mines of Moria, Siege of Mirkwood, Rise of Isengard, Riders of Rohan, Helm's Deep, Rise of Isengard Instance Cluster, and Riders of Rohan Instance Cluster. We're also updating a VIP thing in the near future. Probably our next patch, which could be as soon as next week. We'll see. VIPs will get access to a vendor that will grant them the following benefits once per day: 48 hours of town services items. That's things like the vault and barters and things like that. All this stuff you go to town for, basically. A buff that negates itemware, and a buff that provides rapid crafting. So, yeah, you get 48 hours of it, and you can do it once per day. That's basically just so that you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do it every day, but you can if you want to. VIPs do not need to do anything. Your VIP account will automatically receive this benefit in a game update in the near future. The goal is to try to get it out in the next patch, and the next patch is currently scheduled for probably sometime middle-ish of next week. And I could talk a little bit more about what will be in that patch a little bit later on in the show, but so it should just be a matter of days or whatever before all this stuff is available to you, including the coupon code. I can't give you the coupon code here today. Some of the work is literally being done as we speak on it, but that should be available in the real near future here, and that's going to run through August 31st. So, just a quick reminder that does include all currently existing quest packs, not the expansion quests. The expansion quests will be available for 99 points. And that does not include, say, future quest packs. So, in terms of our VIP benefit, in addition to the new town services and other buffs benefit that we're going to provide, all the existing VIP benefits will continue, like access to future non-expansion quest packs, things like that, without having to do anything as part of your subscription. However, this is going to mean that people who have been enjoying all this free for the last couple of months will be able to continue through August 31st and beyond with that, if they would like to. Okay. VIP services per day per character or per day per account. I believe it is a character buff. You're going to basically go to the place O'Buffage and a vendor in public areas that you'll click on and then get it. So I think it's going to be per character rather than per account, because it does work in the form of a buff. The game's not going down the drain, is it? Question mark. No, quite the opposite, in fact. The success that we want to continue, the success that we've seen in recent months with our kind of free questing period initiative, and both in terms of, keeping the business running and keeping our populations high, which we've seen quite a response to with this free stuff. So quite the opposite, in fact. All right. Where is the vendor likely to be located? Stay tuned. I don't actually know the answer to that. I'm going to guess in basically all of the main towns, all the main kind of camps and stuff, but I don't have a specific answer for you there. All right, let me go back to Twitch, see what we can do. Is the coupon code sent via in-game or email? The way the coupon code will be released is I'm going to append it, add it to the main page here, which is lotro.com/friendsforever. I'm just going to put in big letters. The coupon code is, you can redeem it through, here's whatever restrictions there are, probably something like 1 redemption per account. Although, not like that matters, because it unlocks everything for your entire account, and you could apply it to multiple accounts if you want to. But whatever kind of legalese I need to put in there is all going to go into the main page, which is lotro.com/friendsforever. We're also going to be doing like social media posts on it. So Facebook, Twitter. We don't have an Instagram. So Facebook and Twitter. And here, I'm sure I'll mention it here. I have no doubt that the coupon code will be spread far and wide when it's available. I'll also drop it on the forum somewhere. So it should be available widely to find when it's available. And again, stay tuned on the timing of it, probably sometime next week. All right. 99 points for all 7, or 99 points for each? 99 points for each. Each will be 99 Lotro points. A lot of people can just earn that through free questing. Otherwise, I mean, hey, well, we're looking at $1 for this stuff, so up to you if it's worth $7 to you in total, if you want to just pay the full price and not use any of the free points you got. Also, if you've been VIP or whatever, you should have more than enough points to take care of this stuff on your own. What about any quest packs that launch between now and August 31st? We have the timing is not a coincidence in terms of things that you would have had to purchase. So theoretically, if we released a quest pack between now and August 31st, which I don't think we're going to do, that would not be, or That would have been included, but we're not doing that anyway, so should be a moot point. The wedding stuff's going to be free, so. In the latest patch, there was stated the Stout Axe name change mail reverse has been fixed. Will the name change be available again for Stout Axes now? Yes. I was of the impression that that was already available. I will have to follow up to make sure that we need to turn on the thing that we need to turn on if we have not. Any plans for carryalls for armors or cosmetics? I believe the answer to that is... I haven't heard of those two. Cosmetics, has its own wardrobe, which tends to take care of that. Armors would probably make some sense, perhaps. Although, I don't know, do people really carry around a lot of different armors enough to justify a carry-all? But if there was interest in it, I'm sure we could do that. Well, things are... Server performance issues. Failed login attempts. Have we thought about temporarily enabling free transfers to allow server populations to even themselves out? No. We will not be doing that. Other than the transfer from Ithil to Anor, which is currently available. We are continuing to look at performance in the game. That's something we are always looking at, and we've been spending a lot of resources on in recent months. I believe that we will continue to do that. The codes and expansions are in-game only. Correct. You will redeem the coupon code through redeem code in the Lotro store in-game and purchase the 99-point expansion quests and instance clusters that are in that list. Through the Lotro store. I mean, I'm sure. I had no doubt that people carry multiple armors with them. It's just mostly, at some point, you have so many armors that you need a task or a carry-all for it. Maybe. Like I said, if people want it, I'm sure we'd be happy to get it to you. The missing plaque in Minas Tirith. Yes, I saw a bug on that, and I believe that should be fixed in the next patch, I think. ETA on Lotro Instagram. I had actually thought about it over the years. There's been a couple of times where I almost pulled the trigger on a Lotro Instagram. I think there would be some value in it. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff on Instagram. So there's some sense that we would benefit for having our game on Instagram. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens someday. It's just mostly another task that we'd have to monitor and deal with. So I don't know about the timing of it, but could happen. So Lara, I don't know the specifics of some of the weirdness of Helm's Deep, other than to say what will be included in the expansion quest Helm's Deep is basically all of the adventure content that would be in the base sort of edition of that package, minus any of the non-content related things that might be included in it. So if that helps answer your question, there you go. Yeah, I think it should. The plaque thing should be in the next update. And the race change token is something that we are working on. we don't have an announcement on that. We would expect to make that announcement in the, as soon as we can on that. So, all right, I think I mostly have the stuff covered that I need to. I can do one other thing before I head in game, and that is I can talk a little bit about a patch set for next week. This will be update 26.2, and is largely a small bug fix and a little bit of classwork patch. We're going to be, based on your feedback and the experience of the team, we are going to be scaling back burglars just a little bit on their survivability and boss debuffs. So we're going to be reducing the reveal weakness as base from 4% to 3%. Bonuses from traits and legendary item legacies are being reduced by about half. Ratings debuffs will remain unchanged. The vulnerability effect was simply too powerful in raids. Provoke is having its cooldown increased by 2 seconds. And that's so that it's harder to maintain a full stack of Provoke with Roll with it. And then Knives Out damage reduction is being reduced from 85% to 70%, as it rendered burglars nearly invulnerable with skill bonuses. On the captain front, we're going to make it so Revealing Mark no longer generates aggro on champions. So we're going to be buffing up and adding some utility improvements to champion survivability. Like Glory will now reduce all damage, not just melee damage. Champion's Challenge will put a short damage debuff on the target. The Blue Line Vitality trait is being now called, or in the future called, Stalwart Blade. Grant a maximum 5% parry chance bonus in addition to its Vitality benefit. Sprint cooldown has been reduced from 5 seconds to 2 seconds and down to 60 seconds with buffs. On the Minstrel front, properly tying the Timeless Echoes Remorchant set bonus to the skill toggle. Runekeeper Ceaseless Arguments cooldown being reduced by 1 second, and the change to Epic Conclusion Closing Remarks Dispel effect is being reverted. We are fixing the plaque for King Aldemir for the deed, the Line of Kings. We're also correcting an issue which was preventing homeowners from painting the floors of their hobbit houses. That's really, I think, the main thing. I see one possible aggro fix for Chamber of Shadows, but I need to get some more clarity on that, so I don't want to talk about it right now. All right, I think so. That's what I have as of yesterday afternoon on the release notes for update 26.2, which will be coming out probably something like mid next week. Okay. And all this stuff will just be in the release notes whenever the patch comes out, like Tuesday-ish, Wednesday, something like that. Am I aware that Oathbreaker pets' weapons are bugged when you go into a loading screen? I'm not personally aware of that, Loopy Lop Lop. Make sure to file a bug report on that so QA can take a look at it. Yeah, we have done, I know, some advertising on Instagram. We just don't have an account ourselves on that. It was done through a third party. How will this impact the challenge server if VIP is not required? Would open up multi-boxing on the cheap? I think that's probably why VIP will be required for it. And you're talking about the Tournament of the Twins, which is coming in the near future. We had a preview this week on Bullroar for that, and that should be hitting the live worlds, I think something like later this month. And that's as close as I can give you on a Tournament of the Twins update. Nothing to announce, Derek, on Helm's Deep release on the Legendary Worlds. Stay tuned. Why do we make soloing and gameplay so tough for burglars? Sorry, Debbie, on Facebook. My understanding, and based on what's been happening here, is burglars were quite the opposite as of recent. And so that's why this work had to be done. I don't know, Jasper, if the team is looking into the 15% light damage proc for Warden. At the moment, it does 4k damage at level 130, which is awful low. I would imagine that would be something that our design team would take a look at and have more granular knowledge of than I would off the top of my head. Do I know if the bug that reduced Captain's Bleeds unintentionally will be fixed in the next patch? It is not currently set to be fixed in the next patch. I'm also not sure that it was unintentional. But I would need to do some research on that. Oh, sorry, later this month. It's June in my head. That's what I meant. I meant June, not May. You're right. This is still May, isn't it? Oh my gosh, it's still May. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it sounds like I move over to the actual in-game gameplay. If I can figure out where I put it. There we go. Turn up my in-game volume a little bit. I had to turn it down to prevent background music from being in the way there. And I'm basically going to defeat orcs and things like that in Minas Morgul as part of the Black Book of Mordor questing that I've been doing. Is there a reason RP naming rules have stopped being enforced? So I was pinged just recently by someone who was upset that we enforced the RP naming on their character, which was a longtime musician on one of the RP worlds. So I think it is, based on that experience, not true that RP naming is not being enforced. Whether or not it's maybe not being enforced specifically for you, I don't know. I went the wrong way again. I think. However, I would say that, as people are well aware, our customer service teams are quite buried at the moment in tickets. We have had a huge increase in account support and other related tickets in recent days. And as part of that, I would assume that some level of prioritization might need to take place. And as part of that prioritization, I would assume that we would need to determine which would be more important. Say, fixing someone's account hack issue, or deal with someone on Laurelin who feels someone's elf is not properly named correctly. And I would imagine that some of the decision-making there would be a reflection of that. That's not to say that role-player concerns over, say, naming are not valid, but I do think that there has to be some level of prioritization when dealing with a large number of incoming tickets, and so it is probably not as high on the priority list as perhaps some would like. In general, we tend to be more responsive rather than enforcing the RP naming rules. I don't think it's a good use of customer service time to be sitting there trying to police roleplay names. I think that most people would probably agree that there are better things that customer service should be spending their time on. However, when we do get reports on that sort of thing, we do respond to it. Kara, with all the quest packs going free, there is some concern people think the game might be dying or servers closing soon. No, quite the opposite. The reason we are doing this is due to the success we have seen in recent months as a result of our free questing period. I got a couple of them. Oh, all right. Perhaps I ought to have thought ahead before doing this, but that's okay. Sorry, I will get back to chat here when I'm not on the verge of dying. Just a second. Let me do this thing! Alright. Valentin on YouTube, I will copy that over into a notepad document and follow up on your issue with Martial Fury and Spear of the Virtue Gambit line. I will basically pass that forward to the team to see what they need to take a look at. So it's interesting that people are... The general consensus I've been hearing is that people are itching for Helm's Deep to be released on the Legendary Worlds. That is different from what we have experienced really in recent patches to the Legendary Worlds, which has been a request to slow down a little bit on those release dates. So what I will do is make sure that the team is aware that people would like us to hurry up, basically. We had received recent, even with the last Legendary server update, some pretty overwhelming feedback to slow down the pace on release. I want to know what happened to last year MM. I don't know what you're asking. Sorry. What happened to Minas Morgul? We released it. Is that what you're asking? As I said, what the town services will be for VIP and how long the daily buffs will last. My understanding is it's basically a 48-hour buff. And in terms of the town services, I don't have a specific list I can provide you right now, as that work is still being done. But the intention is to make it basically all the regular stuff that you would see when visiting the town. The stuff you'd go to the town for. As to why not permanently, I believe there's really a technical reason for that. One, it needs to check to make sure you're VIP. And two, we would have to worry about increased character data bloat, I believe, if we added those benefits to every character permanently. So I could be wrong about that, but that would be my assumption. Is both to deal with a character data bloat issue and to make sure that it is a benefit gated to VIP. So really a technical concern. But I think that's the reason why it's 48 hours. That means at most you'll just have to visit every other day. And the buff vendor should be readily available, is my understanding. No, I don't have a clip of the patch notes. They're a work in progress, and I was just kind of reading based on the in progress list that I have. So some of that stuff may change. Don't be surprised if it does. But I think that is largely where we're targeting for next week's patch. I never showed them to begin with, zip file. I simply read them off my screen. I can't put up the particular website, our internal wiki, basically, which is where I was reading those release notes from, because I was building them there. And they were not up on the screen. In terms of repeating it, just, that's why it's archived. Just go take a look at it there. It will be readily available. Actually, I believe it's probably technically available right now, even if you want to go to the page and look at the video on demand being created as we speak. I don't expect it to be a massive nerf, frankly, on burglars. It's just bringing them a little bit more in line with the recent changes that made them just ridiculously overly survivable. To the point that, you know, that a large number of players were urging us to please do something about the ridiculous state of burglars, so... Nah, Boremont, our PvMP players would never be complaining. Guardians are fine, don't touch me. I have not heard of anything to do that. Any plans to do that. When is the wedding update being planned for? Before? Oh, hey, that's something I can mention. Before or after Summerfest? So, the answer to that is that it will be before the Summerfest, and on top of that, I'm on the wrong side here. That's what's going on, I think. Summerfest is being moved. That's the big news. Summerfest is being moved, and I'm going to be. And now I need to make sure that's on my agenda to take care of here today. So, Summerfest was, or the Summer Festival was originally set to begin in June 17th. That is going to be shifted out until, double check, I think August 20th is the date on that. And at the same time that we do the Summer Festival, I believe we will also be doing the Farmers Fair. Why am I not getting where I want to be? Oh, that's probably why. Okay. So, that is news that will be on the forums here later today. And the reason for that is, frankly, with the Tournament of the Twins and getting the wedding stuff ready to go, and all the other kind of initiatives and stuff that we've been doing, we haven't had the schedule to be able to add new stuff to the Summer Festival in time for a June 17th release. So we need to give our art and design and systems teams a little more time to get that done and keep their priorities on the wedding and stuff. So we're going to be pushing out the Summer Festival just a little bit later in the summer this year. No, the wedding will not be mid-June. It'll be later than that. It's unlikely we'd be able to get that done by mid-June, sorry. I don't know what it means in terms of longer term scheduling for the Summer Festival. We'll have to see where we end up. But at least for this year, that's what's going on. I mean, the Summer Festival is often, as I understand it, been somewhat flexible in its timing based on whatever it is that's going on. I would just say don't read too much into any of that kind of thing. Nothing to announce on our legendary items changes. That's something that, we'll talk about as we get closer to it. It's a little early, I think, to worry about that too much. No, they will be separate events. They're not going to be the same event. They just might run at the same time. But we're not, like, incorporating their Rapper Quest together or any of that kind of thing. We have heard loud and clear that regardless of our ability to maintain it as an ongoing, updated presence, people want the Farmers' Fair to be separate. We've said numerous times now that the only way we could do that is if we were unlikely to be able to update it in the future. And the community has spoken loud and clear that that is, given the choice of combining it with another festival where it would be able to be updated, and not combining it with another festival where it would not, people would prefer that we keep it its own festival and not be able to update it. So, that is what we're going to do. Alright. That would be a content question, Aegis Leverage, as to whether or not they wanted to, the team wanted to bring back the Master Looter, like in Throne of the Dread Terror. I certainly haven't heard anything about that.
Thy beloved libraries are plundered.
Oh, you mean Master Looter as in you get to pick who gets to
Not all
loot? I really don't see us doing that.
Much of worth can still be saved.
That would be a terrible idea.
Will it?
I can't imagine. I mean, I guess, hey, if you say it was popular, that's great, but why would I want to let whether or not I'm allowed to loot into the hands of someone else? That doesn't make sense to me. Alright. Oh, I'm clearly going the wrong way here. Alright. I guess I would just prefer a system where people get to make their own decisions as to whether they're allowed to loot in a raid. But, you know, I can certainly pass along the feedback that people would prefer a different system. I need to just kind of go back to where I was. Yeah, I heard on, there was a discussion on Discord this week about whether we should add additional items in Tier 4 and Tier 5. And my understanding, after talking to the team, is that there is additional loot in Tier 4, and a much higher chance to get said loot in Tier 5. I also understand that maybe players have not yet had much opportunity to experience that system yet. You know, people just aren't beating the raid at Tier 4 and Tier 5 yet. Oh, I'm back to there again. What do I need to do? Where the golly gosh am I going? This Discord in particular was on the Palantir Discord, but I also saw some chatter about the Tier 4 and 5 raid difficulty on the regular Lotro Discord this week. I am not a big Discord member though, so if you're going to Discord thinking you can chat with me, nope. I almost never use Discord. I am not in charge of Palantir. That would be a function of our quality assurance team. If they choose to reopen applications, they will be the ones to discuss that. Where can you chat with me? Here. Here's where you can chat with me. Otherwise, I am generally too busy to spend a lot of time doing kind of one-on-one chatting. Sorry. I just don't... It would be quickly overwhelming, the number of conversations I'd have going at one time. Sorry. There is an NDA on Palantir that they do have to agree to, and that NDA is something that we do enforce as well. Nope, Jimsters, I really don't see us doing that for Valars anytime soon, sorry. Just post my cell phone number. Nice. Please God, no Master Looter back, Anthony on Facebook says. Yeah. So I appreciate that there is certainly, you know, interest on the part of some people here. I know that there are people who did not like the system as well, because it left whether or not they were allowed to get the items that they were raiding for based on the personality and quirks of whatever raid leader was doing that run at the time, and it tended to cause a lot of sort of harassment and drama and customer service issues. People saying so-and-so stole my loot, that kind of thing. My suspicion is what people are actually asking for is not necessarily a return of Master Looter, but a return to guaranteed raid loot. And that I don't know if I ever see that happen. Aegis Leverage, I would say that the team working on, the developers who work on itemization have a constant level of overwhelming feedback. So the idea of them being brought onto the live stream so that that feedback could be offered is probably not necessary per se. I'm not opposed to doing like an interview about loot. I just don't know that that is likely to happen. Sorry. Theoretically, I could do like a flyover movie. That's correct. It would take some work. I think it would need to be done on an internal server rather than external server to prevent possible performance and other issues. But it is theoretically possible for us to do that. And I would love to do something like that. There may be some level of instancing that takes place as well, though I would need to actually see what was going on there to know for sure. I don't know, to be honest. Just to be fair, I don't know that there is a lot of interest on the part of the developers who work specifically on loot of putting them in a place where they would take unfiltered criticism on the live stream. You know, some people like and enjoy this kind of interactivity, and some people really do not. And I would say that I'm not sure that people would feel particularly welcome if they were to be on the live stream for that work. Some people take that kind of criticism easier than others, you know. Not everyone has the quiet, calm demeanor of a community manager.
Our work is never done, is it?
So this actually is not a bad place, I think, to just sort of hang out for now. I think I'm going to do that for the show. I don't know that I have a personal insight, Marillion, as to why the change happened between a couple of people getting guaranteed loot and everyone getting an opportunity to get loot as the systemic way of doing it. So I wouldn't want to speculate as to what may have brought about that change. I do think the idea of randomized loot is a pretty common thing in gaming nowadays, and perhaps is a system that just made more sense long term. However, you know, we do want to be responsive to people, so I think if there was overwhelming support for, let's just say, only 2 out of 12 people get a chance to get loot or something like that, then maybe we could do that. All you have to do is be in one pug where the leader goes master looter at the last moment and takes all the good stuff to permanently sour you on that option. That was my impression as well. I just, maybe I should clarify before I get off the air here, that I'm not necessarily saying that the community would blast our loot people. More that not everybody has the temperament and interest in being publicly out there in an interview. Some developers prefer to be developers and just kind of do their work based on feedback, based on community wishes, based on what they see and hear, in addition to what I and other people tell them in terms of feedback. Some people like getting more on the forums and doing that kind of back and forth, and some people prefer, or frankly just more private people in regular life or what have you, and prefer to focus more on their work rather than putting their face and voice out there for unfiltered criticism on something like a Twitch chat or Twitter or any of that kind of thing. So that's really what I meant in regard to that. Not that they would necessarily be unwelcome here, just that some people are more suited to this kind of back and forth than others, and have an interest in doing this kind of back and forth than others. Let's see. So I definitely don't have an issue myself with like RP naming and that. I understand that there's a lot of history of that, particularly on some of our servers. So, you know, I want to be responsive to that. I think I made the position pretty clear that it's something we do enforce. As a matter of fact, I know we enforced it recently because I got a whole bunch of people PMing me about some of the forced renames on the RP policy we did recently. But I think that ultimately, when given an overwhelming number of things to do, CS needs to moderate the amount of time they spend, say, enforcing is your name Elvish enough, versus account support, bugs, and other issues that perhaps need to take their time. All right. Yeah, it looks like we're at 1 o'clock here, so we're going to have Tolkien Professor up here in just a minute. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I also wanted to call out that Eldolith recently put together a Google document of the Lotro Stream team. So it's linked on the bottom of the Twitch page down below, and you can click over to that and get a link easily to all the people who are streaming on LotraStream. Maybe give them a follow if you want to. And this afternoon, I'll be working on getting the Lotro beacon out as well. So, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.